Welcome to Chaos, Courage and Coffee, the podcast for anyone who's felt like on the outside I'm holding it together, but inside I'm struggling.
And we do it with honesty, heart, and just enough coffee to get through the day.
Good morning and welcome to episode 3. Today we're diving into resilience, what it is, why it matters, and how we build it.
Good morning, Brett. How are you this morning?
I'm well, thank you, Vanessa.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. What do we do? How do we keep going when life gets tough? And let's face it, who hasn't been through tough in life? I think that's life, isn't it? Life has its tough. It has its ups and downs. Some people have more downs, but how do we handle this? That's what we're really talking about here, isn't it, Brett?
Yes, it is. It's not, so resilience isn't about getting knocked down or plowing through. It's how you get back up again. It's how you recover from what's happened and pick yourself back up and move forward, not just staying stuck.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Well, it is really important. I mean, it's the key, because what happens is when we get stuck, we can very easily end up in a downward spiral. We start asking questions like, why me? Why has this always happened to me? What have I done wrong? And when we start that spiral of negative questions, we actually start heading further down.
Absolutely. So in this context, resilience is overcoming those negative thought patterns, which we've talked a little bit before about. I'm lost for words now, but that's okay. It's real. I don't want to repeat myself too much. It is that breaking those thought patterns. It's identifying what can I do next, or what do I need to do next to change where I am now. It impacts in everything we do. We hear about it with children in school now. Our child was showed exceptional resilience in this thing. When this bad thing happened, they were able to pick themselves up and carry on. It's in relationships, it's in our careers, just life in general when things happen to us.
Do you think perhaps, I'm a big believer that it's all about asking the right questions. So I just had a client this morning and I asked her some very poignant questions. So while she might have been saying, this is my life now, I'm a mum now, this is, where it's at, I just have to accept it. And she was telling herself all those things. And yet, one or two questions can totally opened up her world. I have just changed her whole outset. And she's now starting to question whether she has to be a people pleaser anymore. So asking the right questions. And when I say right questions, I have a really good way to tell whether it's the right question. The right question gives you a good answer, a resourceful, empowering answer. Now, that's real life coaching jargon. But if you don't like the answer you get to a question, do you know what you do?
Ask a better question.
So if you're asking yourself, what's gone wrong? Why is this happening? What answer are you getting? It's not, actually, you know what? Even me saying that, I've slumped. You can't tell, but I have slumped down. Ooh, you want a question that lifts you up. What can I do now? Yeah, that's what you were saying, Brett, the questions.
I think that's a really good point, and I think you've hit on something really powerful there. Resilience isn't just about keeping on going. It's about, how can I thrive? What can I learn? How can I do better? What's the opportunity or the lesson in this for me? And I think that's where we need to define. It's that change of thinking from victim to, again, I'm going to use coaching jargon, but growth. It's not about being ripe and rotting. It's green and growing. It's not just continuing, but thriving, as I said before.
I'm going to pick up on one thing you said there because it was really, really important for a client of mine. She was trying so hard, and I mean so hard. This poor lady was literally driving herself into the ground. And when it didn't work, she tried harder. And when it didn't work, she tried harder. And when it didn't work, she tried even harder. And when I spoke to her about this, she said, but I'm trying. I said, I know you are. And no one can take away that amount of effort you're putting in. However, I said to her, picture this. Imagine that you want to go and play a game of tennis and you want to be good at tennis. And so you're going to put in all the effort and you're going to try harder and harder and harder until someone like me comes along and says, and I won't mention her name, I'll call her Jane. Someone like me comes along and says, Jane, you're trying really hard. And, I like your perseverance is just amazing. However, you're not going to win this game of tennis because you have a cricket bat in your hand. And that was a real light bulb moment for her. And the reason I share that story is to pick up on what you said about people are stuck because they're trying so hard and we're not taking that away from them. But did they have the right tools for the job? Because no amount of trying with the wrong tools is going to get you where you want to get to.
100%. It's so your story or metaphor is very relevant in a practical sense, but we need to think about the tools upstairs, up here as well. Are we thinking about it the right way? Do we have the systems and the structures to support our resilience? If she doesn't have access to a tennis racket, then it's always going to be hard. Playing that tennis with a cricket bat or a wiffle ball bat or a baseball bat, it's still not going to work. And sometimes we just need that extra little bit of support to get us back on track. And when we're talking about resilience in life and work and all those sorts of things, sometimes it's just having somebody to talk to who can ask those great questions that you talked about before. And to get us to think, are we doing it the right way? Do we have that support?
So, what we've said so far is asking the right question is very, very important. And if the answers you're getting are not helping you, don't keep asking them the same questions again and again. Change the question. Right? The metaphor is get a tennis racket. If you don't have a tennis racket, what can you do? Now, this is where resilience, it's important because it's not just about you and what resources you have at hand. It is about asking for help. Who are you going to ask for a tennis racket? Who is going to help you to play tennis? Metaphorically.
Yeah.
I'm not good at tennis.
Neither am I. I played it when I was a child and I wasn't very good at it. So I passed on that one reasonably quickly. But maybe tennis isn't your game either. And maybe the resilience is, okay, you've given this a shot, but maybe this isn't right for you. Maybe we need to do things differently, play a different game. If all you've got is the cricket bat, then you might need to be playing cricket rather,
Wow.
rather than simply trying to continue with tennis. And it's that, I think, self-care, that it's okay to get things wrong. It's okay to get knocked down. It's okay to struggle and have a little bit of self-compassion to recognize that life is not always, and I'm sure everybody listening to this podcast knows, life is not always going to be roses and sunshine. There's going to be cloudy days. We're going to get knocked down from time to time, but resilience again isn't about getting knocked down. It's about getting back up and thriving. It's about finding where your successes are. And I think sometimes we need to simply recognize the little wins that we have along the way. It's not about necessarily winning the tennis match, but it might be that we won 5 games out of 20 or something along those lines, which is an improvement from last week, only winning 2 games. We can still
Well,
see better.
you've hit upon a really good point because we want to talk about how we build resilience. Now, I don't play tennis. I did try when I was younger, but what I do play much better is squash. And when I first started playing squash, I didn't have a clue. And I was playing against guys who seriously knew how to play. So, Brett, I was not after winning a game or winning a match. I was after just returning their serve. And I think even in the beginning, forget returning the serve, just being, the ball was so fast, just being at the right place to return it was my first step.
Yep.
And why am I sharing that? Because building resilience is what you said, Brett. It's one step at a time and it's getting the wins. Now, that is important because what happens when we get the win is it's that optimism, it's that positivity. So if you don't feel you're getting any wins, you haven't broken it down far enough. You're still trying to win the match or win the game. So building resilience is starting with small wins and you need to chunk it right down. And I've said this before to clients of mine. If you struggle to get out of bed in the morning, okay, there's people out there who are depressed. They're really struggling. If you get out of bed in the morning or when you get out of bed, and it might not be morning, please congratulate yourself because that is a win. What I don't want people to do is put themselves down and go, I should have got up earlier. I should be able to do this. Is that building you up? No, it's not. So we want to get the wins. So break it down until you actually are seeing wins.
Absolutely. I was talking to one of my clients who wanted to start exercising, but exercising was too daunting for them. So we broke it down and we said, all right, get everything ready the night before. That bit was easy enough. And when you get up in the morning, just get dressed. That's all you have to do. Is get dressed, ready to go and exercise. Okay, that bit's easy. And once you're dressed, how do you feel? Oh, I think I want to go out and do something. All right, I'll let you walk around the block one time and then you have to return home. But that's not enough. But it's a start. And when you start achieving those little goals, as you say, being in the right point to return the serve, just I've played squash. I understand how hard squash can be. Um, just being there and being able to get the ball, it's not even about being in the right place, but being able to get it to the wall again, the amount of effort you need to put in and above the tin at the bottom of the court, that can be a win for some people. It's just, as you say, the little steps. Break it down to the smallest possible component. Am I doing this on a regular basis? Am I doing this on a regular basis? And I watch a fair amount of sport. And one of the things that I keep hearing in sport is it's the 1%ers. The 1% extra that you're doing that you didn't do before can make a huge difference. And when that becomes your normal, it's the next 1%. And 1% now, 1% next week, 1% the week after adds up to 5%, 10%, 20% over time. That's where the changes happen. Over time, not instantly.
I want to relate it to my mums who quite often beat themselves up for what they're not achieving, and also who look at what the kids are not doing and they spend too much focus on what they're not doing. And this is not helping us to move forwards. It's taking us backwards. So when you have a challenge in life, that's an opportunity. That is your opportunity to grow. If life isn't giving you challenges, go and make your own. Do you know what I discovered some years ago? I discovered I was making challenges for myself, but I was picking the wrong things. I was actually choosing to make things hard that didn't need to be hard. And I thought, what about if I make the challenges more fun? So then not only was I building resilience through overcoming challenges, there were some nice, fun challenges. They weren't all about kids' behavior, for example, or, things that you find so hard, like squash, things I was choosing to do. Because we want choice in life. That gives us that feeling of freedom when we're choosing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the ability to choose our challenges, what do you want to focus on today? What's important right now, I think is also something to consider when we start talking about challenges. As I said, if all we've got access to is cricket gear, a cricket bat, and those sorts of things, and choosing to play tennis or squash with a cricket bat, it's just not going to work. So again, it's asking those better questions. If I've only got these tools, what's the most appropriate challenge? How do I want to face this? Is it with, as you say, fun and excitement and engagement, or do I want to let this beat me down? And veterans, they focus so much on what they've lost, and they struggle with that loss of identity, that loss of connection. Sometimes it's a loss of challenge because life is relatively easy or comfortable or stable now. But they're focusing on this thing and not the new thing. And who do I want to be? What do I have? What can I do? Who can I be? Or who do I choose to be now? Those sorts of things. And so it's, giving ourselves, again, I suppose, the permission to put our attention into places that are constructive. And again, as I said before, what do I want to take, or what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I move forward positively?
It's really quite interesting. I did a talk, it's about a year or two ago now, and I worked out that a lot of, whether it be counseling, even life coaching, a lot of the therapies and the help out there are focused on how to get rid of the problem.
Mm.
You go to someone and you go, I've got this problem and I don't want it. Now, we can fix that problem. You can climb that mountain. But is that what then makes you happy in life? Because all that happens now is you'll come up with another problem. And then you'll be back at your life coach or your therapist or your counselor with the next problem. And part of us feels good. Yeah, I'm moving forwards and getting through these challenges. But the net result is we're not moving to where we want to get to. And do you know why we're not moving to where we want to get to?
Because we're not learning how to problem solve on our own.
We're not learning how to problem solve, but we also have not worked out where we want to get to.
Mm.
When you ask a client, what do you want? Do you know what the first thing they say is? Well, I don't want my boss being like this anymore. I don't want my children stressing me. I don't want. And I sit and I calmly listen to their don't want list. And after a while, I'll give them a few, give them a bit of leeway, and I go, okay, now tell me what you do want. And they go, oh, yeah. Well, what I want is, and then off they go again with their don't want list. And again, I guide them back and I'm like, okay, so now we're clear on what we don't want. Tell me what you do want. Look how hard that was.
Yeah.
It did not come automatically.
Yep.
It needed prompts. So, I mean, I know this is an overused analogy, but if you get in your car and you want to go somewhere and you get your maps out and you go, can you show me the way? Well, to where? Oh my God, no, I love the Alice in Wonderland quote. That is my favorite one. When she comes across the Cheshire Cat and she says, quick, can you tell me the way to go? And the Cheshire Cat says, well, where do you want to get to? And she goes, I don't know. And then the Cheshire Cat says, doesn't matter which way you go then, does it? So if you want to know the way to go and you want to know the next step, you have to know where you're trying to get to. Okay, go back to the map. The map cannot tell you whether to turn right or left at the next junction unless it knows where you're trying to get to. It might not take you on the most direct route. It doesn't matter. At least you know where you're trying to get to.
You need a destination or you will never get there. Absolutely.
All right, shall we summarize? What have we got?
All right. So I think resilience, I think we came up with, it's not about getting knocked down. It's not about just pushing through. It's about what we take out of it and being able to move forward positively with growth and learning. What else did we have?
And the key steps for that. What key steps? Let's maybe come up with 3 key steps for moving forwards.
Well, I think number 1 is going to be asking a better question. Is the starting point. If we don't like it, then as you say, if I don't want, what do I want? What am I seeking? What do I want to achieve? So in coaching terms, in coaching philosophy, I suppose, we're not moving away from pain. We want to move towards pleasure is ultimately where we want to aim.
So the first one was ask a different question.
Different question.
The second one we said was about creating the wins. Break it down until you're achieving, and notice that achievement and congratulate yourself on those achievements so that you are moving forwards.
Yes. You can see the positives. You can see the growth. You can see the learning. And as you say, so we've got better questions, small wins, a destination, have a destination if we want to keep it simple.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
We will see you next time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vanessa. It's been wonderful again.
Thanks for being with us today on Chaos, Courage and Coffee. Remember, you're not alone and you don't have to figure it all out at once. What part of today's conversation stood out for you?
This podcast is about showing up in the mess, not waiting until it's all sorted out. If today helped, share it with someone else who might need it too.
And if you're navigating your own version of chaos, we'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment, message us, or join the conversation.
We'll be back soon with more honest talk, less pressure, and just enough courage to get through whatever's next.
See you next time on Chaos, Courage and Coffee.